Okay, this is April 13th, 2020, 8:05, actually 8:06 in the evening. John Cameron Weaver recording. Son of a bitch. Normally I don't do these kind of video recordings because they're usually embarrassing as hell. But since such situations have been happening these days regarding the COVID virus, uh, government going crazy at this point over here. People's shopping habits are going nuts at this point, and then the quarantine shutting down states left and right, businesses shutting down left and right. A meat packing plant that gets 300 employees contaminated that deals with pork products. My God, how the hell are we supposed to be dealing with this kind of crap? Yeah, my little small town of Roseman, California, which is in the armpit of Kern County and LA County, the annal of LA, California. Shit. We hear everything. We talk about everything. Mostly staunch conservative groups. Some of them are actually generally terrified about this damn bug, and if there's a few of them out there who have actually had long-term exposure with influenza type viruses. We have yet to have an official out here in Rosemont. They have, they're not saying it. Kern County, which is supposed to be the official county that our town resides in, right next to an Air Force base, Edwards. They've had cases on there, but they've shut down the count and details. They call it national security, which try to understand both sides of the coin here, but still, I still don't understand any of it. We still need to find out how far and how widespread this damn bug is. Itchy leg, moisture, mold, fungus, right in the cracks, and then you are itching like crazy. Being quarantined for the past 2 months because of my own influenza, shall we say, contact. I've been trying to fight this, whatever the hell it is, for the past 2 months already. I've had some exposures to people, shopping, family, friends. Well, I don't actually have family, I've got friends. And it's hard to deal with this. It is, because in dealing with a bug like this is seriously pissing me off. I haven't been able to continue with education at a community college since they shut the place down for about 3 or 4 weeks already. A month. I get past a stage where I'm actually feeling a little better to get to class and continue on with education, despite the fact I maybe feel like I'm going to be the Walking Dead. However, I made the conscious choice of doing that. But I get the information from the college of stating that I can't do that any longer because the damn bug has influenced the entire world in shutting itself down. They don't want anybody over at Antelope Valley Community College to get contaminated, either at its Palmdale or its Lancaster campuses. They don't want the teachers, faculty, staff getting it. I don't blame them. I just find it a major inconvenience, and now everything else has to be online. What makes this bug worse than anything else that people have done or been experienced with is the fact that, let's get this thing off. What they're not understanding at this point over here, this damn bug is sneakier and potentially more deadlier than the flu. Now, people have said, okay, 25,000 in the United States die every year of influenza, and maybe a little bit more than that or less than that with pneumonia. And I keep arguing with people that we've got baseline regarding the influenza viruses. We've also got baseline information regarding pneumonia. We've also have vaccinations for pneumonia and influenza. But tell these people about that one. In the meantime, people who have immune compromised systems going on, people like me, I'm going to just pop that up here. You can see my ugly looking face here. There we go. People are just not understanding how this damn bug works, and the scientists are trying to figure this thing out constantly. We have world leaders over here understanding the epidemic because a lot of their countries are getting nailed left and right. Elderly and immune compromised people are getting exposed faster and having more and more complications. We're using a lot of resources regarding personal protection equipment, as they call them, PPEs, mask, gowns, gloves, ventilators. They all need in every country and in every state of our country here, in trying to deal and trying to cope and trying to battle this son of a bitch. There had been crosstalk, there had been cross theories about this bug, the positive and negative stories about it, whether or not it's legitimate or not, if it's deadly or it's not, if it's a hoax or not, where it came from or not, if this particular thing works, if that particular thing works, if this doctor's lying or not. Hold on a second. When one has something wrong with his throat, one must have to take care of it without making an ass of himself. Now, how all of this relates to me personally, I have a lot of issues. I have a lot of medical issues. I have asthma. I have sleep disorder, narcolepsy, insomnia. I did say sleep apnea. Okay. And the asthma. I've been dealing with a damn virus for a long while now, which has put my damn immune system in a chokehold. I get the temperature fluctuations every so often. I'm feeling it. Sometimes I feel hot, sometimes I feel cold. It can be a cold day and I feel like I'm hot. It can be a hot day and I feel hot or cold. But the thing is, I know I can't sleep during the night. Not for a long while. I can't nap during the daytime. I maybe get about 3 or 4 hours of sleep a day. And the rest of the time I'm awake, especially at night, tossing and turning. And that affects me a great deal. Upon doing studies regarding sleep deprivation, it will eventually cause more mental issues and possibly stroke, if not a heart attack. I have family history regarding that. Stroke, heart attack, type 2. I have family history. And also obesity. Some say all this can be controlled. Well, maybe. If it's all genetics, I figure it's all against me. So it's like, fuck, I'm dead. I have to live what I can at this point over here, and if not, I just have to deal with what I've got. The COVID virus, the COVID 19, spreads by airborne, spreads by touch, spreads by surface. And from what the doctors have been saying, you have to do a distancing, but they're still in debate about that one. Yeah, you notice I'm supposed to wash my hands. I'm supposed to wash my hands constantly and keep my hands away from my face. Well, if I got hair in my face, that's a problem. I have no barbers open. Why? Because we have businesses shut down. I don't have anybody to do any barbering on me because we have to maintain a distance. I don't have any hair cutting tools. I have a shaver that can trim this. Actually, a trimmer that can trim all this fuzz here. But nothing to deal with this. No skill as a barber. Otherwise, I'd be looking like a real hatchet job. In the meantime, I still got a school semester to go through. And if I have to go through online, I go through online, and I'm not looking forward to this. I am old-fashioned. I prefer the social contact. I would prefer walking 1.5 miles from my home all the way to a bus stop and getting myself to a college and being around students and teachers, being around people and friends, being around neighbors, shopping, gathering food. And that's the other thing I don't understand about this damn thing. The stigma that is attached to it. The problem is with the stigma, it's scaring the living crap out of people left and right. They think it's the apocalypse, and therefore they have to fill up with a lot of food that other people are trying to get as well for their weekly or bi-weekly substance. So they buy up a hell of a lot of stuff. Because of the shutdowns we've got right now, it's going to be almost impossible for some of them to do that because they have no work and very little income coming in now. To zero income. Now everyone's kind of going on unemployment. And drain coffer is really dry at this point. The government, the federal government, wonderful as they are. Let us reserve judgment and comment on that one. But to continue on with the diatribe. Thank you for making me lose my brains. Popped out of the head of it. Oh, there it goes. Walking around over here. Mental illness. Gotta love it. Back to the program regarding the federal government being so efficient at this point over here by allowing us a few paltry bucks just to survive maybe 1 month. 1 month. For some who actually worked their ass off for a living. It may be a little bit of a relief, but it's still not much of a relief. They need more than that. They need work. And our leaders know this, especially the theoretical top dog of a country that people had voted in and found out this guy is insane. Insane. In so many ways, he's insane. He's trying to do things to continue his political existence without really caring about the country and not trying to put in political ads left and right or political attacks on people or personal attacks on people because he's insulted all the damn time. We have a nation in trouble. He's not getting it. I understand about people confused about the virus compared to what we've got right now with the COVID-19 and how it affects us politically, economically, and socially at this point. Especially when you have a bug that's been nailing people left and right across the world, gets over here, and we can't get rid of the son of a bitch except by trying to do social distancing, which means we quarantine ourselves. We quarantine ourselves both outside and inside. We don't call it stay home, you call it quarantine. You call it incarcerated. Staying home for a hell of a long while, watching television and everything else negative except for all the coronavirus information on the news, and hardly anything else happening here. You have to use social media to keep up to speed of what's happening, and if it's the information's legitimate or if it's not legitimate. And people are still bitching about that one as well. Not quite sure if we have social media that's up to speed or not. 54 years I've been on this earth. I've seen too much most of my memories and most of my life. I had been in a world where we had dealt with viruses. We've dealt with pandemic. We have never dealt with a major pandemic. Epidemics, yes, we've dealt with those. But nothing like a global pandemic. And now this one is hitting people left and right. And it's affected us a great deal more than what we've been used to. We can't figure it out. We are incapable of figuring it out because we are so conflicted with this situation here. This is not one of the easiest things in the world to deal with. Each one of us have our own issues to deal with. We have our own situations to deal with at home and at work and abroad. We have our own personal hang-ups. We have our own personal demons that still haunt the living crap out of us we'd like to get rid of. We have situations that have caused us a great deal of grief, pain, and anxiety. I, for one, am one of those. Maybe some of them have yet to have those experiences, but I have. It's not fun. And losing my family has been the hardest damn thing I've done in the past 10 years. I have grown so attached to my mother and my brother. So attached to them that it hurts. It hurts a great deal. And the last 2 years have been dealt with my brother's passing. 2013, my mother passed. And it has not been easy. It hasn't been easy. It never was. My brother and I had special times, and we were a team of sorts. And you lose your significant other of a sort. I was not like that. My brother and I were two peas in a pod, as he would put it. I watched his back, he'd watched mine. We had grown up doing that, and believe me, there was a hell of a lot of times when that was necessary. And in dealing with what we've got these days, I'm not quite sure how my brother and my mother would have been able to deal with all this corona stuff. I know my mother was sickly before she passed away. A great deal. My brother wasn't so much, but he did develop type 2, and throughout several years, he fought it, but not very well. He figured if it was going to kill him, it was going to kill him, so he might as well let it do it. He was smoking. He was drinking his cokes. He was trying to nurse his drinks, but still, he really wasn't up to speed when it came down for taking care of a type 2 diabetes. He had heart issues, breathing issues, and before he passed away, stroke issues. And in the last several years of his life, I was his caregiver. And before he passed away, Dave and I were also our caregivers to our mother. Family does that for each other. And we're grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. Hard as hell to do that, but still. But in dealing with what we've got, in dealing with what I've got right now to deal with, is dealing with an uncertain and an unknown future at this point over here, and not quite sure how to deal or handle it with everything else happening right now. This is a scary time, however. It's a transitional time. Maybe in the course that we're supposed to be discovering other skills, we're supposed to have self-reflection. We're supposed to get in contact with our inner selves somehow to figure all this mess. It's not easy. Speaking from personal experience, this is hard enough for me doing a personal journal like this on video, let alone contemplating the idea of putting it out there. God, it's even worse for me. I generally don't like doing it because to me it's like pity me, listen to me, world, listen to me, listen to me. I've got a story to tell you. You must listen to me. And after you listen to me anyway, because I need. I can't tell you how many people I have seen that do that on social media and regular media, not to mention in life. I'm almost afraid of being like that kind of person myself. My mother had issues with me. She had isolation. She had issues with me being an isolated person, an introvert. I stuck around with my own self. I didn't make very friends. Not very. Didn't make all that much friends. Very few friends actually tolerated me and actually liked me for a change. Why, I don't know. I never knew. I still don't. Curmudgeon, I guess. You get older, you start remembering things differently than what they were. And sometimes memory slips and somebody else tells you something and I'm like, wait a second, I don't really remember that. What the hell are you talking about? And the curse of old age. Also curse when you have not used your brain to the ultimate power, or whatever level we call it. I had seen some stuff happening locally. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley and see it mutate into something I don't even recognize for nearly 40 years. I grew up as a kid, a lot of places became like sanctuaries, became like landmarks. Excuse me. Sorry about that. The sinuses are driving me crazy tonight. So is my body. I had seen killers loose. I had seen epidemics loose. I had seen changes in governments, people crazy, rioting in the streets, earthquakes, floods, fires. I had seen the world coming nearly to almost to a cataclysm regarding wars and nuclear weapons. How one nation can turn itself into a militarized zone by thinking and almost by doing because of terrorist attack and change your whole world in an instant. For what was peaceful and comfortable now, living in total terror for the rest of your life. Are the ultimate. A 4-year-old baby. So sickly. Sharp-eared doctor finds out what's going on. Next thing the kid understands, he's in a tent, an oxygen tent. He's already been through one, but this time they gotta get him ready. They gotta open up his chest. The ultimate fear for me. I was afraid of living and afraid of dying at the same time. And that's what stayed with me for the rest of my life. Till I lost my family. My mother due to natural causes and respiratory disease. And my brother due to neglect on his body. He didn't care. He lived a lifelong life for him himself, so he was just going to pass away like an old soldier. A Navy veteran screws up in his career by helping his family out and get ostracized personally and permanently from the Navy. Bad conduct hangs around his neck like a damn albatross. He dies a lonely man. He kept trying to get his discharge upgraded, never could. Once respected SEAL, now ashes. My family and my dogs. My mother, my brother, and several dogs. What's left of my family, and I'll be joining them. Not today. Hopefully not today. But I am grateful for the life I've got. Despite the fact I've already had albatrosses hanging around my neck too many damn times in my life. And they're mighty weighty. If I hadn't been exposed to a certain author and a certain story, I wouldn't have understood what that meant. I do now. I do now. Coleridge was a hell of a writer. And in creating the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, it withstood the steps. It withstood time itself. That means a hell of a lot. I guess that's enough for my diatribe at this point over here, but the thing is I was trying to convey. I am like other people. I have had screw-ups in my lifetime that I regret. I went to college after high school, screwed up 2.5 years, didn't keep up my grades, and got kicked out. Plain and simple. 30 plus years of working my ass off, get injured on the job, then went everything else out the toilet. Mentally and physically. Things happen. Family passes away, and then the brain goes completely. And one of my more lucid memories or moments in my life, am I actually able to get these notes down? I have made many journals, trying to keep up with what's going on inside here, the old brain. Trying to keep up with what's going on in there. I know my own heart is like an empty black hole because I still miss my family. The emotional and the physical damage All that stress, I know, had done more to compromise my immune system than I figured. I should have more to fear about this damn bug, but I'm not. Because of experiences I've had, that was a long time ago as a kid on an operating table. I'm not exactly looking forward to dying, but I'm not exactly looking forward to the fear of dying either. I know my family will see me again one day. But in the meantime, I'm just not done yet living yet. I still have a long way to go. Short time to get there. Forgive me. And what happens when you're staying at home, quarantined, and you do things that might embarrass people? But this is the real me. If you don't like it, that's on you, not me. I'm just doing what I gotta do. I'm just doing what I do. Okay, enough of the ranting and raving. I think I wasted about more than an hour, actually a half hour of my life, and bored the living crap out of you folks. Specs back on again. See out of these damn things. Put the headset back on. All right. I think we're done with the pity potty at this point over here. So I think. Get caught up with all these damn cords underneath. I hope, folks, you can take this with a grain of salt of what a person goes through. My usual daily routine is just waking up in the middle to close to the afternoon point, and then trying to focus what's going on. Since being quarantined for the past 2 months, usually I would spend spring break and winter break sleeping in. I actually would be sleeping during the nighttime. But in the past several months, it hasn't been that way. Sleeping during the daytime and also awake at night. It's not a pleasant thing to go through. And especially when grief hits me in the middle of the night, or depression during the daytime. You start sleeping more and more. And physical and mental health issues. I'm more than a handful for the COVID-19. I'd be a honored guest. I'd be an honored guest, and my life would probably be ending in a respirator because my family had been like that. My mother didn't want to be plugged up and tubed, but she was. My brother, they couldn't even tube him for the life of him. Passed away in front of him, and I didn't even realize it as an ambulance races down a freeway trying to get its ass to a hospital to save his life. He gets wheeled into the ER as a piece of meat. He's no longer my brother. I suppose the same fate awaits for me too. But until that day happens, I'm not planning on it. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not shooting for it. I'm not even working towards it. I still got school. I still got life. And I'm still trying. Okay, enough of the long ass diatribe. This here is John Cameron Weaver. Signing off. And I'm gonna do this anyway. Screw this noise. Live long and prosper. If I can just get this damn computer to work. Where's the son of a bitch? Where's the frickin' mouse? Where's the... I can't even see out of these fucking things in the first place. God damn it, where's my fucking... Batteries. 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 I'm gonna kill this damn thing, I swear to God. Okay, where the hell is that damn thing at? Come on, come on. I do this nice long diatribe without any cursing and cussing, and what happens? I turn out to be a frickin' maniac. What the hell's wrong with me? Son of a fucking.